Yes, you lovely people, if you're not already, make sure you give us a follow over on Spotify.
One thing Ben said you didn't want to talk about today, serious matter, Romelu Lukaku.
Oh, man. I had a fight with Gary Lineker about Lukaku.
How the heck?
What?
Hello everybody, I'm Ben Foster. Welcome to another episode of the Fozcast. Today we are joined by internet sensation himself, Alex Elmsley. You might probably know him a little bit better as ImAllexx. Alex, welcome to the Fozcast.
Oh, mate, thank you. I'm absolutely buzzing to be on.
No, we're buzzing to have you, mate. You're a legend. I've met you once before.
Yes.
I came home straight away, and didn't I? I buzzed off you. You had your filthy Gucci headband on, right?
I gave it to you as well. We gave it away for charity.
We did give it away for charity. But I buzzed off you. Proper lad, funny, can't stop talking, world class, all right? So can you just please explain to the viewers at home, the listeners, what it is you actually do?
Oh, I've done so many things over my long YouTube career.
You're 23 years old, by the way.
I know,
yeah?
I'm 23.
And that's not a joke. It's
Yeah.
long YouTube career.
Originally, I kind of slagged off other YouTubers. Still do, to be fair. I've got plenty more of that coming. But just there's so much stuff on the internet that it blows my mind.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like laughing at it. So that's mainly what I do. And I do my podcast as well.
Yeah.
Also with Spotify. We love Spotify. Please renew my contract, guys. Thank you. But yeah, and I also do my podcast as well. I talk to like other YouTubers and actors and hopefully footballers, Ben. I do want to get you on.
100%, mate.
Yeah.
Just, we'll line it up. We'll
Pod
sort
for
it out.
pod. We've got to do the trade.
Because you do love your football, don't you?
Oh, I do, and I've never really been able to properly talk about it because, like, I've got like a 75% female audience. And
Have you really?
They
Is it really?
Yeah, they just don't care. They don't care. I wish I try my best, but
They
Is
want
it really 75%?
Yeah, it was always so much higher than all the other boys, because of the fact that I would make videos on, I guess, YouTubers who added more, because I would do stuff on people who did like makeup and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they're the most controversial lot, you know.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's like proper cat fights, man.
Does it get a bit bitchy?
Yeah, man. The makeup.
Am I allowed to say bitchy? Yeah.
Yeah,
You say bitchy, yeah.
definitely. They'd say way worse. Yeah, the makeup YouTubers. That was kind of where it all properly took off because it was such like a big phenomenon, and then I jumped on the back of it, being like, I don't think people are looking at this because they just kind of pass it off as like an entirely female thing. Whereas there's so much entertainment in like laughing at these makeup channels because they properly hate each other and like trying to sell their makeup plats. Like,
Oh,
all
what?
that
So they
stuff.
basically watch each other's and then try and put them down, belittle them, like, that's not how you should do it. You should do it like this and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
And you
Yeah.
just laugh at them all.
Yeah, I would just sit there and kind of take this like I'm not really in this space, so I could just take it exactly at face value, and then
Wow.
that made it so much funnier. And then those videos are the ones that weirdly did the best out of all of them.
So well, I can't believe that about the audience. What do you think our audience is?
I mean, I'd assume it's probably like 80% male.
More.
Surely, is it more?
Go on.
Is it 90, like 95?
94.
That's
Yeah.
mental.
Get Ben on your pod tomorrow.
Exactly.
That'd be great.
To be honest, I think now it's more 50-50. After I did a group channel of like Will Lenny and
Yeah.
George Minglis and James Marriott. After we did that, me and James already had more female audience, and Will and George had more male. But if you put us in a room, you'd probably be able to kind of see just on our demeanour that would probably happen.
Yeah.
Will and George are more laddie than me and James are, to say the least. So it was always going to be that way.
Right, come on, give me some football talk. So, big Chelsea fan.
Yeah, huge Chelsea fan.
Do you often get to go watch the boys, or are you always watching on telly, all that kind of
This
stuff?
season, I've basically been at every single home game for the first time ever. Because purely because of the job, like YouTube. If it wasn't for that, there would absolutely be no chance, really. But I got so lucky this year because I didn't grow up in London. I'm born in High Wycombe.
Yeah.
My mum's an Arsenal fan. My dad's a Brentford fan.
Yeah.
And I'm a Chelsea fan. Who knows how that happened?
Yeah.
I had a mate. He was actually from Birmingham. Actually, he's from Droitwich, well, around that area.
Yeah.
And he was a massive Chelsea fan. I used to hate football. Like, I did not like it at all. Mainly because he was so good.
Till what age, though? Like, we're talking
I
like
would have been about
teens?
6, 7.
Oh, like early doors.
So
okay,
early, but like
Yeah.
I did not like it. It wasn't like I just wasn't. I was like I was just watching my mates run around. I used to sit on the sideline like a big coat, and then he'd just be like banging goals.
He's the
in.
man.
And then he just came to me one day and he was like, "It's boring if you don't play." And then he went, "Just stand up front because he loved the 40-yard screamer. And he'd go, if the keeper saves it, just tap it in.
Yeah, nice.
And
I
we
like
just
it.
developed that. I just played that
you
role.
can run though. You've got
Partnership.
energy, haven't you? That's
I
what I
do.
noticed on the hashtag one. I was watching the hashtag. So it was a 24-hour live stream, and they played for 24 hours, rolling subs.
Oh, yeah.
And we were talking about it earlier on. So you've got a few players. Anton Ferdinand went.
Yeah,
Marlon
Anton
Harewood.
was there, Marlon
Who's
Harewood.
Marlon
Marlon
Harewood
Harewood
was there?
did not like me.
Didn't he?
To be fair, originally I didn't realise it was Marlon Harewood. So every time I had the ball one-on-one, I wouldn't square it to him. And obviously, he's an ex-Premier League footballer. And he got his patience wore thin very quickly with me constantly going for goal.
And he's shouting, pass it here, come on. I've
Yeah.
got a tap in, and you're
He was
thinking,
like, "What are
no
you
chance,
doing?"
mate.
He was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I've got to score more than Chris MD."
So talk to me. So you did this 24-hour live stream. So how long were you there for? How long did you play?
I
for?
was meant to be there for like 2 hours. I had like a 2-hour slot, and then I ended up playing for about 6.
Yeah,
You're like a
you-
Duracell bunny, but when we got there, it was coming towards the last like 8 or 9 hours, so the pace had dropped and it was a bit slower. But tell us about your observations when the big dog rolled up.
Oh, well, so what happened was when I was playing, it was pretty easy because it was like me versus YouTubers, kind of like on my level. But I could constantly see all like the hashtag players. They were just waiting around, and they refused, like straight up refused to play. Like if it got to the point where people were like, "I'm so knackered, I want to come off," but nobody would come on because they knew that Ben was coming, and they were like, "I have to score
They're saving
against
themselves.
Ben," because obviously, like you got ex-pros there, but you're the only actual professional footballer still playing, and especially because you just beaten United. Everybody was like, "I need to write if I can score. I'm better than Ronaldo." So that was like that was
that the logic?
mindset. The mindset was if you could beat Ben, then
You're
were
better
better
than
at finishing than
Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
That's simple formula, though. That's how it works.
That's how people like football Twitter decide football. To be fair,
Of
it's
course,
that
yeah.
it's that recency bias. So
Yeah.
it was like, I could say for at least 24 hours I'm better than Ronaldo.
We had just battered Man United 4-1, and to be fair, when I got the, like I say, you put a shift in. Like you were actually out on the pitch for a long time, but then you wouldn't just go home. You would just go and sit upstairs and you'd go commentary. He was just chatting to everybody,
Buzzing around the
Yeah,
place.
I had never met him before, and I was sitting there trying to do commentary, and he's just chewing my ear off, mate. He was like, he's not even doing commentary, and he was next to me just chewing my ear off. He was incredible.
I was like talking to you and Anton Ferdinand at the same time. I was having a great time.
We literally walked out the event and we got in the car to go home, and Ben was like, "I like Alex. He's wicked. He's
yeah.
wicked. He's got lots of energy."
I do. I love that.
I
by the
like
way.
people. By the way, earlier, you know that he described himself basically as like Jermaine Defoe. So he said his mate was like the big guy who would shoot from, and then he was the little one who would just tap it in, like big and small. What are they called? Large and tall.
like
What's it
Niall
called?
Quinn and Kevin Phillips.
There you go, something like
I'll
that.
take
A big
that
man and a
comparison,
little man.
actually, I
A big
will.
man and a little man. Not that you're a little man, you know what I'm saying, though. Yeah.
I am quite small. To
Right.
be
Come on
fair.
then. Bring it back to Chelsea.
Last season.
Last season, you went to pretty much every home game.
Pretty much every single home game. I was meant to go to the away games, but then the Russian takeover all the stuff in Russia and Ukraine kind of stopped that from
Yeah,
happening
yeah.
because no tickets and all of that. Which is obviously not the worst thing to come out of that. But I was quite gutted. I was quite gutted that
Poor you.
Yeah, I was quite gutted that I didn't get to do that. But luckily, because I already had like a brand deal going with Chelsea, I still had all of my tickets to all of the games.
So you could
Is that-
still
So
go.
everybody else was like, "I can't get tickets." I was like, "I already got mine for the
Yeah.
rest of the season."
I,
So,
I
okay.
went to the last game of the season, so we played against Chelsea last game of the season away at Stamford Bridge, and a friend of mine's a big Chelsea fan, and he's got like corporate tickets. It's not in like a box or anything, but you get to have a bit of lunch and food and all that, and it was wicked.
I was in that same section.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
weather was banging, right? It was boiling. In fact, the weather was, but it was super weird from where we were sitting. Look right down in front of you, it's just empty seats. Like it's so mad
okay.
being at a football stadium, especially like Chelsea, where you know for the fact it's always going to be absolutely rammed. Empty seats all over the place and that, and they don't know when people are going to start to come back in and all that kind of. It's mad, isn't it?
It was so funny. There's only so many times, like last stretch of home games, because we had at the end of the season we had a lot of home games, which is normally quite weird. I was like, I don't have to travel for like until the end of the season for like 4 games. But it was just every single week. It was just like people singing about how the stadium was half empty, and I was just like, I've heard this one 4 times now.
What are you thinking of Chelsea last season?
Do you know?
Give me your what's the word? Your review of Chelsea season last year.
Do you know what? I think I wouldn't say I'm gutted because it was that Juventus game that Juve game, and I went to that, and we were 3-1 up.
Yeah.
And I brought my mate Fraser Einhaber with me. He's also another YouTuber.
Oh, this is the one where Mendy.
This is the one where Chilwell got injured.
No, I'm talking about the Real Madrid game where Mendy sort of made a bit of a mistake.
Oh, I already thought the season was finished before.
Yeah,
then, to be honest.
yeah.
But it was that game, and I would turn to him the whole game and going, Ben, I was like, if we lose Chilwell,
Yeah.
I was like, because he scored and he was unreal. I mean, he'd scored a screamer like the week before, and then when I just saw him go down, I literally turned to my mate and I went, season over.
Yeah.
Because at that point, he was our top goal scorer.
Yeah.
And as much as that's not a good thing when your left back is
No,
like
it's
your top
not.
goal scorer.
But if the other ones can start chucking in with a few as well, it's a good little combo to have.
I was thinking like he's cracking on him and eventually everybody else will. But then when he went, I was like, oh, but now you need those guys. It's not only like the pressure's even more on because like they're not scoring already, and now you've got your two like Reece and Ben were the top goal scorers, and they were gone, and I was like, it's done. But I wouldn't say I'm disappointed. I'm more upset that I went to 2 Wembley finals and saw both of them lose on penalties, whilst with Cal Freese as well, who's a Liverpool fan. So I was like, that was gutting.
You just kind of knew. I don't know if I'm not a Chelsea fan or a Liverpool fan, but I just kind of knew Liverpool would have won the penalty shootout in both of them.
Yeah.
I did. I remember watching them both, and I'm watching them thinking, yeah, Liverpool are going to win both of these here.
I said at the FA Cup final, I said, I'm not bothered if we lose 3-1 in normal time. I just don't want it to go to penalties again and we lose, because it's just like getting out of Wembley way after that. At Wembley, it's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
That was my main gripe at the end of it.
Yeah.
But I'm not disappointed with the season, because I think that some of the recruitment was a bit odd, personally. I'm more disappointed that we're now in a place where we've lost loads of players for contracts, and the youth players who we sold at the beginning of the season, who I was like, why is Tomori gone?
Yeah.
Why have all these players been loaned out? I'm now kind of sat there being like, well, now it makes even less sense.
Did they sell Tomori?
Yeah, he's gone.
Because last season it was like fine margins, wasn't it? On another year, you could have walked away with a domestic cup double, two finals. But one thing Ben said you didn't want to talk about today, serious matter. Romelu Lukaku.
Oh man, I had a fight with Gary Lineker about Lukaku.
How the heck? What?
There's the clip.
It's my favourite thing. Me and Gary Lineker, because I replied to it. He made a tweet when the interview came out, being like, because Gary said he made a tweet that was basically like, don't jump to conclusions. We need to hear what Lukaku has to say.
You're talking about the famous interview here that was sort of
Sky Italia one.
Sky Italia halfway through last season, where he basically said, I want to go back to Italy and play for Inter Milan again.
And Gary said, like, and I love Gary Lineker, but he tweeted, we need to know what he has to say. And I replied with, Gary, it's an interview.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it.
I mean, we kind of know how he feels, and it's not great, really. And then he replied, being like, "Oh, people want footballers to be open," and I'm like, "Well, I know Ben. Ben's very open. I don't tell him to stop vlogging." I was like, "I'm fine with him being open," but I said he said something that he probably shouldn't have said. Really, you can't it'd be like if you get halfway through one of your vlogs, you're just kind of bored of being at Watford.
Yeah,
just don't really want to play.
Or I just don't like this place anymore.
Yeah, I don't really want to play football. People are like, "Oh, maybe too open, Ben. Maybe don't do that." But that's what Ron basically did. But what the weird thing was is he just started scoring goals again. And I reckon, because he'd done the interview like 3-4 weeks before, when Thomas Tuchel told him he wasn't going to be instantly back in the team. Yeah. And then I think one game went by, and then they chucked him back in anyway, which I don't think was the original plan, because I think there's a few injuries. And then he scored like 3 goals. And I kind of get the impression that he was probably sat there going, oh, fuck. I probably shouldn't have done that interview, because I'm actually in the team way quicker than I thought I was.
And I'm scoring goals.
But I've already
surely at that point you're going like on the phone to agent, going, please, you've got to get it taken away. We're not putting this out anymore.
Fuzzy, what's the deal with that? Because often you hear about these interviews, and it's very rarely with an English media company.
Yeah.
Do you remember when? Was it Tevez, and he'd done something, and it was Argentinian TV,
okay, yeah.
And it often tends to be either their country where they're from or a foreign outlet.
But this is like I kind of I agree to one part of what Gary Lineker said, at least, is like players need to be more open and all this kind of stuff, and that's cool. Yeah, I totally agree. But you can't go slagging your team off. Like I understand players, like, as we're evolving, especially with what I've done, I've sort of opened it up a lot more, haven't I? So people see behind the scenes, and it is a lot more open. Sometimes a little bit too open for some football clubs. They don't like that exclusiveness kind of thing. But you have to be careful about what you say, because when you start talking about football teams, like Alex, you've got like an emotional attachment to Chelsea, haven't you?
Yeah.
You do. You commit a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of emotion.
He gets free tickets.
Yeah, well, yeah, but do you know what I mean?
I've got all the shirts.
Yeah, you're always watching out for them. You're always looking at the latest news, so you have an emotional connection, don't you? So the second an actual player comes out and then says something sort of not even derogatory, but something instead of, "I love this place, it's incredible," straight away all the fans just go, "How dare you? How dare you?" It's like bad-mouthing my family or something. It is, isn't it?
It is like that, because for them, they're turning up, like, those fans can't really see anything but their complete love for the club, obviously. And I weirdly feel like when Lukaku did it, I have more of an idea of what that's like, because for most people, like, you're doing your dream job and you're doing that, but like, as somebody who's on a complete different side with YouTube, I know it's not, like I say, I know being a footballer isn't actually...
But that's your world.
It's lovely.
You're in that world.
It would be great. It's easy to sit there and go, being a footballer would be amazing 24/7 and there's nothing that could possibly go wrong. But it's not true. And I'm sure he was probably struggling, and it probably pushed him for whatever reason. He probably also had people around him who were telling him it was a really good idea. And if you're surrounded by 6 people going, they would all be saying to him, like, "You shouldn't be treated like that, Rom. You're the man. You're the guy. This is what you know. You're the you're the £100 million signing.
Right, to be fair.
You should be playing."
Yeah, it's a good point.
I knew that, and that was why when I was arguing with Gary Lineker, I was like, "Look, I'm actually more. I'm not like all the other people who went to like calling for his head." I was like, I could totally understand how you get pushed there from like a PR perspective, but I just also don't understand how it gets that far, because you also must realise that nobody has ever done that and come out a winner.
No.
Yeah.
It never happens.
Don't get me wrong. Like, news will become old news eventually, and it will kind of die off. But I think when you're somewhere like Chelsea and you've got a manager like Tuchel, who I think Tuchel's a clever guy. I think he's not only a good manager, but I think he's a good people person. He gets how people work. So I think that would fully go against the grain of what Thomas Tuchel would like in his players and as a person, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So I can understand that it kind of, came to a bit of a bitter end in the end, didn't it?
It's a shame, because you look at it at the start of the season, like when they signed him, and we were talking about it, and we were like, "Oof, that's trouble."
Everybody was nailing
That's
us to
trouble.
win the league.
Mate, fancy Premier League, he was like a certain
Everyone.
starter, weren't he? He's straight in
And
the
then
team.
First game of the season, he bags, and you're
Bags,
thinking,
yeah.
"Here we
To be
go."
fair, I had you in, Ben. So
Did you?
He was
my
the
dad.
cheapest goalkeeper.
Nah.
my
wasn't
dad
he?
also had you in. As
I think
well.
I was the second most selected goalkeeper.
I think he was 67%.
Yeah, so like low. Everyone had me because I
that.
was like £4 million or something.
Yeah.
Because obviously I was doing
4.5.
such- Yeah, no, 4
No,
million.
I
I'm
think
sure
he-
I was
was he-
4
Oh,
mil.
I thought you were 4.5.
4 at the start. Oh, maybe I was 4.
I think you were 4.5.
I think
I
maybe
remember
you
because
were, right.
I remember being like, Ben, I put you in first.
It's when he got an assist, and everyone was going, "I've triple captain Ben,
Captain
and he's
That
got
was
an
against
assist."
Man United. That was against
Yeah,
Man
it was.
United. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you got like decent points that week.
I know. Yeah.
So just going back to Chelsea then. So a question for you here, Fozzie, because you
it's not my
mentioned-
podcast. Stop
No, I
asking
know,
me the
no,
question.
but I want your insight as a football
It's
player.
your podcast.
So
Oh yeah, it actually is. Yeah.
so Tomori.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, kind of.
So with Tomori, so he's left Chelsea. Obviously Rudiger's gone, but
And Christensen. Now.
and Christian.
Rudiger's a miss, Eddie. Rudiger's the boy,
Yeah.
I've heard. Do you know, like a lot of people will say Rudiger's a bit outspoken, a bit this and that. Everybody that I've spoke to that's ever played with Tony Rudiger, says he is the man. He is the man. Like, he don't stand for no crap. He's one of these guys who will happily stand up and go, "No, that's bullshit. You can't do that."
You need
but,
that.
But only to the players that need it saying to them.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, he's golden. If you're doing it properly, he's the man, apparently.
It's a big loss then.
Yeah.
So with Tomori, how does this happen? Because obviously Tony Rudiger's gone. Within months, he's in the England squad and he's playing for England. So Chelsea have got a preview for this, haven't they? Lukaku, KDB.
Yeah. But there's certain players, like, at certain times where, like, Tomori obviously knows he's a good player. And whenever he got the chance to play, he did really, really well, didn't he?
I loved him.
Yeah. So to the point where people like yourself are going, "No, he's going to be our next centre-back. He's going to be our next centre-back." But the problem with that is, though, when he get built up like that, they want to go and do it now. They want to go and play. And when somebody like AC Milan comes in and goes, "Yeah, we'll take you," mate, you go, you do.
And I love that, by the way, because if I was him, I would have done. I think like more players should do that.
Yeah,
You know, you can't let these big clubs hold you hostage all the time.
That's
really.
what I mean,
And
yeah.
it's great to see somebody who wants to play.
yeah.
Because he could just sit there and earn like crazy money just being on the bench
For Chelsea, living in London.
But now look at him. Like, I mean, I saw the leak today, like 60 million move to United. It's probably completely made up, but it's like he wouldn't be getting that if he was still sat at the bench at Chelsea.
Yeah.
But that's probably why he is what he is, though. That's why he is such a good player, and that's why he is doing so well. Is because if he's got it about him to go, yeah, I'm going to go and move out to Italy, and I'm going to just do it and rip it up. And by the way, have you seen some of the interviews he's done in Italian?
Yeah.
Have you seen
Yeah,
it?
He's unreal.
yeah.
He's a very clever man.
Fluent like you wouldn't believe. He's picked it up like that. It's outrageous.
Mentality monster, but that's what you got to be really, like in any form of profession like that, because there's just going to be somebody else out there who will make that move
Yeah.
as well.
Do you think
and then
more-
they get the opportunity?
Yeah. Do you think more young players should go and play abroad?
I think so. Yeah, because I always feel like that was. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a professional footballer. I haven't played in the England team, so I can only speak from the from the outside. But I feel like you see every other team, every other national team is built, apart from maybe with Spain when they had that period. But it's like every team is built from these players who play everywhere. They play with so many different levels of football, you know, and they're just not just like better footballers, but they're also probably like better people. because of
Well-rounded.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they've got to be able to do all of this stuff, and also I think the one thing about that is the mentality in those players is no fear. Because if you're willing, like a lot of these players, like 15 and move to a country they've never been to, can't speak a word, and then have to break into a team in like maybe the Championship where you get dogs abuse probably every week.
Heck yeah.
And it's like, and players like that, they're just built different,
Yeah.
really. And
You
then you see them go on to do crazy things.
Jude Bellingham's a prime example of that, isn't he? Like, how old was he when he moved out to
Was he
Germany?
16 or
17
17
years old.
16,
It's
17.
that is a huge step, by
It's
the way.
unreal.
That
And
is
look at him.
ridiculous step. But have you seen when he does interviews and stuff like that? How like mature and grown up he is. He owns everything he says. Like he fully says it and owns it as well. It's incredible. You don't get many players that are able to do that. You know,
Yeah, 'cause
mentality monster.
he
I
has-
like
he's-
that.
mentality
He
monster.
has
I like
made
it.
he has made a couple of mistakes, but he has owned.
He owns
owned
it. He stands
But he's
by
a,
it.
he's a young lad, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Because his brother's at Blues as well now.
Yeah,
isn't he?
young,
His
he's
younger
only,
brother.
I think he's only 16 as well. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
it.
So what's next season then? So rumoured to be signing Raheem Sterling. What are your expectations?
Mate, there's a
for
few
Chelsea?
rumours, by the way. There's Raheem Sterling. I saw Neymar the other day.
Richarlison.
There's
Richarlison.
no way Neymar happens.
There's
and
no way Neymar happens.
There's no way
is there?
Neymar
There
happens.
is no way.
That's every year. The ones that are more believable is Sterling, as far as I could tell, because we love Fabrizio Romano. That's
Yeah.
where I get money from. That's pretty much a done deal. But then the ones.
Has he said it's a go yet? If he said it's a
Not
go,
here
it's
we
done.
go yet,
All right?
but we're at like advanced talks and
Yeah,
agreed
okay.
personal terms and all of that stuff.
And Fabrizio says it's a go.
Yeah, that's when you know.
It's set in stone.
Yeah, it can't not happen
Exactly.
at that point. And then it's Delict. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Which I'd be really happy with. And then the one that probably won't happen, what I would love as well, is Skriniar. Or however you pronounce it. I don't know. Milan Skriniar, the Inter Milan.
Never heard of this
centre-back, yeah.
person in my
He's
life.
all I know is that everybody loves him on FIFA.
He's got to be good then.
so he
It's
has to be
standard.
great.
If he's good on
Um,
fancy, if he's good on Football Manager or
Oh,
FIFA,
with
yeah,
him,
he's
yeah.
got a chance. Simple as that.
Exactly. So like those, I'm more excited, weirdly though, about centre backs because that's the thing currently that I'm looking at. I've been like, we don't have any.
Yeah.
we have no
Christensen
one.
left as well, didn't he? By the way.
Yeah.
Where's he gone?
I think he went Barcelona.
Oh bloody hell! Marcos Alonso's.
I don't know if Alonso stays.
Wow.
But
it's carnage
Bit of
basically.
change,
Chelsea
isn't it?
at the
Bit
minute.
of
yeah.
change.
yeah.
Right, I've got so about 6 months ago, was it 6 months ago? Maybe about 3 months ago, maybe. Like a world first in English football, okay? The first openly gay English footballer. Jake Daniels, Blackpool, 17 years old. What did you think when you heard this news?
Massively impressive. I mean, it's one of those things where to come out like that, you know, as somebody, you know, I'm bisexual. That's what I am. And I remember even just doing that on YouTube, where there's so many gay YouTubers. I mean, it was basically most YouTubers back in the day when I grew up. There was about
honestly, yeah.
6 or 7 coming out videos a year. That used to just be kind of the thing. 10, 20 million view videos. Unreal.
Buzzard, yeah.
Um,
I think I might do that. Just get some views or something.
it was a great payday.
now.
But no, like, but even then, like, so for me, but then that's something like that was why it was so weird because I my two things were like YouTube and football. On a YouTube, was going completely different direction to football was in that way. Whereas on YouTube, it was like it's so normal. Like I know so many people. Like when I'm in a room with YouTubers, like sometimes like half the room people are openly, talk about their sexuality or whatever. Whereas when it's at football, it's very rare that I run into anybody else who's
Really?
openly
What
out in
do you
any
think
capacity.
that's because it's like still a huge stigma where this is a man's sport and no, we're all men here and that's just how it is, and everybody sort of straps that on every day.
I think it's just because I've never ever had an issue. From what I remember, people mainly just kick me anyway because they will at football. Like, but I've never had anybody like pick that
Target,
out. But I guess I was open after like literally like the year I stopped playing Sunday League.
Yeah,
there's probably a correlation.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
To be honest, because it would have been even worse. But people just kick dog's abuse out of me and my mates because we're YouTubers. So it's like, but I think it is the manly thing, that manly stigma. It's also like when I make YouTube videos, I get to say that and then post it on the internet, and then I can just turn my computer off and I can just kind of run away. Whereas you're like, I'm gay, and now I'm playing in front of like 5,000 people.
Do you think next season there's going to be some sort of chance or something like that from opposition fans?
Definitely. I mean, there was even at games like last year. There was a few at the Chelsea games where people would chant stuff about people that I would hear from like away fans and stuff.
You hear it at Brighton, don't you?
Brighton, obviously.
Oh, do you? Yeah, what
do,
opposition fans at Brighton?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the most obvious one because Brighton's so like that's where pride and everything is like so massive. It's like, but then the thing is, the weird thing with football is kind of like everybody gets it, really, don't they?
Oh God.
Like I've sat in those stadiums, so you hear the stuff. Like I mean, even just when Marcos Alonso's going down the wing, the stuff people chant at him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the first time I've ever been at a football stadium when I heard it was like I think it was West Ham fans were chanting about Alonso, and everybody went like actually collectively went, "Oh." But you heard everybody do it all at once. I've never been in a football stadium where everybody's kind of gone, "Oh, that's a bit."
Yeah, I think that's interesting because with Jake Daniels, I do. We spoke about this before, but I'm not sure if it was on a pod or not. But I think if you're getting singled out and someone's going, Marcos Alonso, you're a prick. It's not right. It's not great, but it is what it is. If someone's being singled out for their sexuality, I don't think the greater good, i.e. most of the football fans in the stand, I don't think they'd take it. I think they would be called out.
Yeah.
I think if you were in a group...
I've seen that a lot recently. I have seen it at games where people do, like, especially now, it's a big thing. It's really come on, especially, I mean, the main thing, obviously, also, like, racism. Like, you see, like, England fans now, they don't put up with it when people are doing that shit. Like it's been a crazy turn, and it's turning around so fast, which is so great. And him coming out is going to make such a big difference. But it is interesting because like people will always kind of like pick something. For most footballers, it would be physical attributes. People would probably chant at them, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But then it's interesting how if it's sexuality, kind of like. People put that on the same level as if they think somebody's ugly.
Yeah.
But I guess that's just kind of that stigma has been built into society for so long that it's gonna, to unroot that it's gonna take time.
No, I think it's some going. I do for a 17-year-old to do that and be the first one to do it in English football. It takes some going because, like I said, I've been in football for 20 odd years and. I can honestly say I've never come across somebody who is open, like, or even in the change room, it's been a bit of a secret or anything like that. I've never come across somebody who's had the confidence to say it. There's always kind of like, you think it maybe, he might be, but nobody will ever say it.
Do you think that will change?
I do think it will change. I 100% think it will change. And I'm probably same as you, same as a lot of people. Who cares? Like, genuinely, it's not a thing. Like, it doesn't. As long as you're a nice person, for me, the most important thing is you'll be a nice person, and good things will come to you, and good things will happen to you. It's as simple as that. And nobody really cares about that kind of. It's a load of crap.
And you get at least 10 goals a season.
Yeah.
Lovely. Preferably.
Exactly.
Goals and assists.
It's amazing in 2022 though that like how many footballers are there? You've got 20 odd teams per.
Well, what do they
per
say?
League.
What do they
Five,
say?
4, 5 Prem.
How many men do they say is possibly gay or women? There's a stat, isn't there?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. It's probably like 1 in 4.
Yeah, it's something
3.
like 1 in 3
Yeah.
or 1 in 4 and something like. Statistically speaking, there should be 3 or 4 gay people in most football teams.
The people I
shouldn't
know, like the people I play football with, I've got a few mates who come down who are openly gay. So if I'm just doing the ratio in my when me and my mates are playing,
there? It
then
stacks
I'm
up.
like, it just doesn't add up.
Yeah.
No.
Unless we're all just terrible. I'm not a professional. So, but if anyone was to give me a contract, I'll be an openly gay footballer for you, 50 grand a week, preferably. But yeah, it's like it is that thing. But it's strange because I look at like just in my pool of people, but I guess because me and my friends are open, you'd attract more people who were. So maybe we just are a group. Of
Yeah,
outliers.
maybe.
Sure.
Might
maybe.
just be a group of outliers. Really.
I'd love to get him on the podcast though, and just like try and pick his brain on how he came to this and how like to make that decision, because that takes some guts. That doesn't it? It's massive that. And I just hope that next year, I just hope it's kind of just another thing. It ain't no. Do you know what I mean? Just crack on as normal. I hope it isn't even a thing.
Attention on you, like it's like with a lot of footballers as well. Like you probably don't want stuff going on to potentially, because obviously it's not the same as coming out as gay, but having the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
God, it's the same risk. But but it puts such a risk on you, I guess.
I do get dogs abuse,
but it must
give
give you. It must make you be like, got to perform even more, because I know.
It puts a target on his back.
Yeah, because I know,
because
like you're now like, I've got this thing that makes me a standout point.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, we see this on the GoPro."
That drives some people though,
Exactly. For some
does.
people, it will. It depends what type of person you are.
Mentality monsters. That's what we want.
I'd assume he is. I'd assume that he'll probably do well because of the fact that if you're willing to do that, you're like, I could take something else on my plate, and also whilst I've got to do it anyway, then just built different. Really.
Yeah. Anyway, big shout out, Jake Daniels. Get yourself on the podcast, Keith.
Yeah.
We'll have you on. We'd love to do it as well.
When we're talking about like abuse in stadiums and stuff, I was watching a load of your videos last night. So you made a video on homophobia and like reactions and whatnot. A very, very serious video. Very, very funny.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Like I don't know many creators that have this balance of talking about a serious subject and then making it so YouTubey and funny.
You know what? So I don't think he is, but he also isn't. He's not got a serious bone in his body, but I think he has at the same time, if that makes sense.
It depends. I think sometimes like I also find it really funny to take something really serious and then just flip it at the last minute. Because like you don't really want to be like serious.
Because then you watch it and think, did he mean that? I don't know.
That's the great bit. Sometimes you get people just being like, they can't separate the irony. But I love that because I don't really want people to really actually really know who I am. Because then it's when you get a bit invasive. But like with videos like that, it's just so funny to like people get so angry and so worked up in comments for everything, and it's so great to just take it. Just be like, it's amazing how much these people care. And we just make them look stupid.
Yeah.
Do you know what would be good to do is like when you put a new video out, right? Is to compare the comments from your videos to the comments I might get in my like Instagram or something like that. You know, the DMs in your Instagram and stuff like that. Especially when I played a football match, because if I've played a football match and I've made a mistake, mate, the abuse
in requests.
Oh my gosh,
frightening.
they are disgusting.
Do you know what's crazy? Instagram for me, like we used to always talk about, Twitter worst.
Yeah, the worst.
Completely scrap Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, it's generally fucking pointless. Instagram, like that was the place that all YouTubers we retreat to Instagram.
Yeah.
Because if you're a YouTuber, you're not really doing anything necessarily too controversial. It's like only positive.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody reads the comments really, to be honest, on Instagram. If you're a YouTuber, I don't think, because you don't really get many. I mean, you can just get like the 80,000 likes. You just go, oh, nice.
Yeah, but
whereas on every other platform, you've always got like the good things, and then like, oh, here's 3,000 comments you really don't want to see.
Yeah.
And that's why Instagram for us was always like I see it as like a safe space.
Yeah.
TikTok also terrible.
Is it really?
TikTok even now probably the worst. I mean, like just
worse than Twitter.
Yeah,
really.
It's going down a path, isn't it?
Well,
like these TikTok boxing events and stuff. Like the hate and like that surrounds it, but that's kind of also included in the event itself.
Well, it's one of the things where I actually remember, because when I left the hashtag thing, one of the things that I said to everybody when they asked like what it was like, I was like, because the first thing everybody asked was like, what's it like meeting Cal the Dragon? And I said, you know, there was clearly people who, because of this weird TikTok thing around them, they see him as like a character.
Yeah.
And I remember saying, like, I remember watching you go up to him and giving him your gloves and just treat him like he was a normal bloke. Because so many people just, I've seen him at so many events. The amount of people who treat him like he's some form of prop is like fucking terrifying.
It is like he's
It's
not a
really
human.
like he's not a person. Which is which was even better because the one thing is everybody would go, "What was Cal the Dragon like?" And they're expecting me to go, "Oh, he's fucking awful."
Yeah.
And I went, he came on, scored 4 times more goals than me in half the time.
Yeah.
And I went,
he was decent,
he was
weren't he?
better than 95% of the YouTubers that
Yeah.
turned up, unironically. Like, actually, it was great. And then they were like, oh, and that's not the response they want. They want to hear, like, oh, it's funny to prey on this kid's downfall.
No, they don't. They just want that, don't they? They want the bottom of the barrel stuff. They really do. They want you to like taking the mick out of him and video. Like honestly, I guarantee you, people would have buzzed if I'd have got my camera and gone Carl the Dragon, you shitting, oh something like that. They'd have buzzed off
But
it.
it's
Kind
like
of thing.
a lot of these TikTokers that clearly have a persona, like on TikTok and whatnot, and you see fans going up to them, people like Ed Matthews or Simple Simon and whatever,
Yeah.
people going up to them, filming them, and being like, and you going,
A lot of them
this
getting
guy's
hit
in
at the moment.
Yeah.
What do you
you're
mean
in
getting
there-
hit?
Like, people going up to him,
Someone
like,
had a swipe at Ed Matthews in the
punching.
street. The
Ed
other day, didn't
Matthews, somebody tried to hit Ed, somebody tried to hit HS Tiki Toki. There was another one who literally like got walked outside of a club and got beaten up. People wouldn't do that with YouTubers though. Like, people have been really fucking weird to me, and I've had people jab me, mainly to get attention.
Not trying to proper hurt you, but still.
Yeah, but
Still
still,
a bit weird,
yeah,
mate.
people slap you around the head to try and get your attention. People, but with TikTokers, people, because of I don't know what it is with what they've built, because it's such a massive hate train, and that is what they benefit off, and they do kind of lean into it. But they've got the thing where that audience really don't seem to be able to separate them. Whereas on
Yeah.
YouTube, you've got at least less of a distance, but more than you do with TikTok. There's
Mate,
nobody really. I think
point.
there's a lack of respect,
For
weirdly,
sure.
with the TikTokers because
Totally agree.
you know, and it is strange. People do just have been going up and just jumping them recently, like a lot
so
of them.
weird.
Mental.
It's so
It's
weird.
mental.
Like we say the videos we do, like on cycling GK and stuff like that, because I think because they're such a positive, like you always finish watching it and you kind of everybody you feel nice, don't you? Got a
No,
nice
you do
little
feel
warm
good.
glow.
I watched your vlog
Yeah,
the other day.
they're nice, aren't they? Yeah, they are. They do. They make you feel good. But the amount of people that come up, honestly, no matter where we are now, I swear, isn't it? No matter where we are, right? And they'll go, "Oh my God, Fozzie, I love your videos," and they'll call me Fozzie, and they'll it's like they know me.
Yeah.
And I've never met this person before, and I'm thinking, shit, do I know this person? Should I know his name
I
or
met
whatever?
them, yeah.
But it's only because they watch the videos, but so they have like an emotional attachment already. It's like they already know me, kind of thing. And it's wicked, isn't it? It's so wicked. Like the amount of like kids, especially you get like 10, 11, 12-year-old kids coming up and just buzzing, and it
Quite a
makes
lot in
their day.
America. We were in
Yeah.
LA a couple of weeks ago, and I was surprised how
A
many
few
people
people,
came
yeah.
up to you. So our American audience is about 12%.
That is crazy though.
Yeah,
If you get
yeah.
recognised in America, that's a
Yeah,
big
yeah,
thing.
there's a few.
That is
Yeah.
a big thing. I remember walking through LA and people would recognise me.
Really,
and,
yeah.
And I'd be like, "That's how you know. So you know you've made it.
Yeah, I've done
I've
it.
broken America."
That's it. You need to just get yourself over there now, yeah, and start taking the rip out of some friggin' American makeup people or whatever,
And
whatever
then
it
you're
is.
you're making big money.
Yeah, boom. you
What's
smashed it.
your biggest viewed video? The vlogger, a lady.
Emma Chamberlain.
Yeah.
'cause
She moved over, didn't she?
Yeah. I love Emma though. That's the thing with like some of those videos. Like somebody does like one thing, and you kind of like slightly dog on it, and then it becomes like, you know, when you go, "That's my most viewed video," and you're like, "But I actually really like them."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I think with my YouTube channel. I think for a lot of the people who watch my stuff, is that there'll be people I really, really didn't like.
Yeah.
And then you got people who I really do like, and I'll make a video that's way more like lighthearted. Like, you know, Jack.
Yeah.
Jack did his calendar video with Zoella.
Yeah.
That he's not like, "I fucking hate her," and
Yeah.
it's a joke. It's
Yeah,
clearly
yeah,
like
yeah,
it's a comedy bit. But then he's got videos where he's like, "I really don't want this guy to be making videos anymore. This is just really fucked up."
Yeah.
And people can't differentiate that they're not.
No,
The
true
same.
that.
Yeah.
And I think me and Jack definitely, we used to talk about how we used to have that problem. We'd be like, people bring the same energy for like man who's like murdered somebody towards Zoella and an advent calendar.
Yeah.
And then and we're like, you know, because it's all on the same page. So people just look at it and go, it's
the
all
same
one
stuff, yeah.
thing.
If you're
the
going to
same
make a
stuff then.
video of them, I'll treat them
and
with the
it's
same.
like, and it's like,
yeah.
and that's one of the reasons why I stopped uploading for a while, because I was like, especially when it got to the point where now I know everyone. Like I'm also like, I can't.
You don't want to go ripping.
I can't go ripping everyone.
I'm
out.
gonna bump into.
Jack
them.
said the same thing, hasn't he?
Yeah, I
Like-
can't rip. But also, because they are like I could count on one hand, maybe even the YouTubers who I met, and I was like, no, genuinely keep them away from me.
Yeah.
And I've met thousands of them, so it's not like I've met 10.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
hate half of them.
You met the majority.
Yeah,
at least,
I've probably met like 3,000-4,000 YouTubers across my time
So
doing
we've
it.
come across some decent, well, very, very, very few that you'd kind of say, well, I'm not sure of him.
Yeah,
Most
you
of
guys
them-
hang-
We'll compare
yeah.
notes after.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you guys, everybody you guys have had on are the most solid. And
Yeah,
that's,
they
but
are,
that's
aren't
why
they?
those guys have been going for so long, like
I know.
Simon and Chris, and
Yeah,
you know, those guys are my favourites. You know, we do the football every week. and,
Yeah.
yeah,
You're
those
gonna have
guys
to
are
get involved
legends,
in a
man.
footy video soon, aren't you?
Yeah,
I would love to.
I
just
want the midfield terrier.
the problem
to-
is, man, it's like I'm watching like Chris and Simon play against you, and I'm just like, I play against Chris and Simon, and they destroy me.
Do they?
Nah,
Yeah.
it's
And
a
I'm
bit of
like-
fun, isn't it?
Yeah, but I would love to get involved. Do you know what the one thing that I do think I'd actually be good at, which everybody bear with me here, heading challenges.
Yeah.
mate, that used to be my thing back in Sunday League because nobody would mark me.
Yeah. The
And
salmon.
I have no fear when on a football pitch.
Are you like a Shane Long, where he's not the tallest guy in the world, but he leaps like a salmon?
Yeah.
Let's
just
go.
times it
I
right.
used to be I was centre back and captain for my Sunday
No,
League
you
team.
weren't centre back. Come
Centre
on.
back.
you
I was
were
centre
not.
back because if a ball went over, everybody else doesn't really want to be there, do they? To be
Yeah,
honest, a
true
lot
that.
of them been dragged along by their parents, whereas I wanted to play. So if I was like, if there's a one-on-one, I never gave up, like always chasing, and that meant that obviously I had more of a higher success rate defensively than anybody else because I was the only one tracking back. So if anybody was going to make the tackle, it would be me. So I think if you put me in a proper defence,
Yeah.
I'd obviously be completely found out.
Yeah.
But if you put me against with three people who don't want to be there, I look like a prime like
AC
Maldini.
Maldini.
Milan.
Yeah.
He's going to AC Milan with Tomori now.
Yeah, man, I like
get
a
him
prime
next to,
Maldini.
get him next to
can I-
Ballon Dawson.
Can I just give a shout out to Chris MD? Because did you see the goal that he scored in the was it the Content Cup?
Yeah,
game?
man,
Did you see the goal he
unreal.
I've
scored?
not seen it.
Mate,
Put that guy in his
he
arse.
picked it up about 45 yards from goal, right? Dribbling through, there's like 2 or 3 defenders. He sat a defender down, right? He's jinked to
Did
go to the
he?
right. The defender's like bought it, gone that way, and then but he's cut back inside. Chris Endear. This guy just pretzeled his legs up, right, and like
Breaking
he
his
just got
ankles.
twisted up, fell on the floor, slotted it. Oh, it's beautiful, mate.
We're
We-
filming with him next week, so
We film all. He brings the GoPro to all of the sessions
he?
we have
Does
in
he? Yeah.
Shoreditch, yeah. And we like everybody sits and watches them back, especially when you know there's a cracker's gone in.
Yeah.
But it's just like you're just watching Chris turn YouTubers who haven't played football in like 2 months just into like just turning them over.
I think he's starting to believe the hype though now, Chris, because everyone keeps saying he's the internet's best
Did
player.
you see his new clip? The one where KSI asks him if he thinks he's better than Noah Beck, who obviously played in
Yes,
Soccer
we
Aid.
have
No, he
seen
did
And,
not.
Chris goes, it's making he goes, it annoys me. It annoys me that people think that he's good. I reckon I'd be better.
And what about when he said he's better than some professionals at free
Yeah,
kicks?
and Theo Baker said the same thing.
We're with Chris
I
next
love
week.
them.
We're with Chris next week. We might have a little surprise for him.
I,
mightn't we?
Yeah.
mate, I love them so much. I because
They're
like,
wicked.
I love the fact that they're like. There's the bit where they're like Theo's like, I think I've probably practiced more free kicks than professional footballers, and I'm thinking. Everybody I knew who used to be like semi-professional amateur, all they used to do was practice
Free kicks and penalties. Yeah, practice free kicks and penalties.
Especially if you were came up in that Beckham era.
Yeah.
That's all the people used to do. People didn't want to play football. People just wanted. I had mates who would be useless and then dead ball, just ping it, just top corner every
Yeah.
time.
Just be an NFL kicker.
Because that's
then,
all
you know,
people
you're
did. They would
Look,
just sit in the garden.
if Chris MD is starting to believe the hype, right, all he has to do is watch all the raw footage back from the time that he tried to take Will Trooster Kong on in the video that he did, where he honestly, the amount of times Will just went no and just kept pushing him, literally pushing him over to the point where Chris got so tired at some points, right? He's trying to run past Will and his legs were buckling and Will was just going, what are you doing? It was
I
incredible.
remember
mate.
that video. That was really when you kind of see the level.
The levels, yeah, that's it. Because in football nowadays, the minimum is being big and strong, basically.
'Cause
That's the minimum.
Yeah, that was the
Strong and
thing.
fast.
I used to back in the day. I just had this idea. It was like, if you either have this incredible ability, and then you're great, and then I realised like No, to be honest, if you just hit the gym every day, you'd
Mate,
probably be 8 times better.
You've got to be, the minimum is to be physically able to do absolutely everything. That's just the minimum. And then that's because why the standards got so much better, because then people are mixing that with incredible skills and ability.
Well, people train for these YouTube tournaments now.
How do they
They train.
To get what? Do you mean just to get fit and stuff like that? Which is fair enough.
Yeah, to get fit, and also
Yeah.
because like it's got to that point now where like I played in the Clash of Creators one. And then we had like 40,000-50,000 people watching.
That's what I mean. It's getting a big deal, isn't it?
And then you're like, and I just remember being like, well, how has it got to the point where through YouTube, I managed to play football in front of 50,000 people live?
Can we not?
God knows how much
Can we not get the Sidemen to do like a USA versus UK
They're trying,
YouTube
apparently.
thing? Do you know what I mean? That would sell Wembley out.
I constantly throw my hat.
Would sell Wembley out.
Genuinely, it would sell Wembley out. If you got a UK, you got all the Sidemen, you got all the big boys, like Nico, Chunks, all those kind of boys. And to take on the USA contingent, the friggin' Nout boys and the friggin' Jake Paul and all that.
I'd be lying if one of the reasons I haven't started uploading again properly is because I know that they're working on it.
They
and
really,
I'm like,
yeah.
And I'm like, I have to try and forget. I need to get my views up so I can get my hat in.
I swear down, if they pick Pieface in goal over me, right, I'm going to be fuming.
Jack was unreal, to be fair, though. He was so great until the final when they made us play back-to-back games. Which was unfair. It was really unfair.
Yeah, it does. I know,
Playing back-to-back games, I mean, I've got to come up against like Spencer Owen.
proper players, decent players.
It's not happening.
I love it.
We got absolutely destroyed in the final.
just rewind a little bit, just to I want to speak.
We've gone miles off topic here, by the way. We always
brilliant.
try and do a content plan. I always say to them, why do you even bother? Just chat shit and we'll
We've
be
got
fine.
cue cards on my show.
Oh,
now.
really?
Seeing how
They look nicely produced, those cue
we
cards.
love producer Sam smashes it every time.
Love it,
But like
Sam.
we got
good
cue
lad.
cards because of how I just
Waffle.
go off, man.
Yeah, but we were talking about Jake Daniels, weren't we?
Yeah.
About 20.
My God, that was about half an hour
About
ago.
20
Yeah.
minutes.
Rewind.
No, but the question which I really find interesting for YouTubers, because obviously you're 23 years old, you are a veteran of YouTube, and it's amazing. And you started. When did you start uploading? How old were you?
If we're going to say like my first video, I was 11.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we had like given netbooks at school, and they had a webcam built in. And back then on YouTube, this is like because there was no real mobile or anything like that. It wasn't even monetization. You couldn't make money off it. You used to be able to record directly through the webcam to YouTube, straight to YouTube.
Wow, just good to go.
So my first video was just like a 4-minute video of me doing what everybody does when they start a YouTube channel, is talking about what videos they're going to make.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense. Just make those videos.
Is it still on the channel?
No,
deleted it.
It's not.
I've had probably 9-10 YouTube channels.
Oh, really?
Over mainly sometimes just losing passwords, or you look back and go, why did I name my YouTube channel after a Call of Duty video game? That was the first one. I realised that wasn't going to run.
Yeah, but when you're 13 or 14,
Modern Warfare 3, Alex. Because I loved Modern Warfare. Those games are sick, man.
yeah,
It
but
was
like,
Modern
at
Warfare,
whatever
wasn't
age
it?
you're at, 14, 15, let's say, you're not going to go, oh, well, that stops me from making FIFA content, are you?
No, and that was the thing, because then I was like, oh, God, I've really... No, because also I was like, hang on, but there's also a game cycle. So in 2 years' time,
It's not going to
be a new Call of Duty.
They've changed the name. It's not even Modern Warfare.
Yeah, so stupid. But yeah, like I've been doing YouTube videos since I was 11, and that was it. And then I took like a year off when I was going into GCSEs. Not because I wanted to, but because, number one, I realised that if I always had the option to make YouTube videos, I would never revise. I didn't revise once. Only maths, because they forced me to do an hour after school because they knew how fucked I was. But like, I wouldn't do anything, so I'd just go home and I'd just make I used to stick the GoPro on my bike and I used to cycle around, which is why I love your videos.
Just vlogging and that, yeah.
Because yesterday we had your guy, the holiday on, and I went, God, I'd love to go on holiday with Ben on the bike. It'd be fantastic. My mates went, why? And I went, that's what I used to upload.
Yeah,
that's
just
what I used to
vlogging
do.
and that.
I used to go to the one stop by Lucasade. That used to be what I used to post. So that's what I was doing. But then I remember I came in one day and my English teacher had my video on the projector, and he was like, is this what you, in front of the whole class, is this what you've been doing instead of revising?
No.
Get out.
Yeah. And
What,
I was
like having a go?
yeah.
Nah, that's bang out.
Yeah, not great.
Call him out.
And obviously, but the thing is, everybody else was like, they were making videos, but then when they saw that, they all quit. But I didn't stop. And then you had the thing where they were like, "Oh, you're still doing that? Then we've all stopped because you're a loser."
Yeah.
And then you had loads of people, and those people, I love seeing those people now. All the people who constantly like I still see you're posting. Oh, why are you still posting? Do you think this is actually going to work out?
Mate.
Well, I've got some news.
You got a couple mil subs down the line,
Yeah.
friggin' now.
That's what it used to be like generally. And I was just like, in 2-3 months' time, I'm not even going to be at this. I'm not even going to be
I'm
here.
going to see you again anyway.
Everybody else stayed at sixth form.
Yeah.
At a school called Arnwood. Like, they all went to sixth form. I was one of 2 people who swapped it out for college. So I was like, I just want a fresh start. Also, I was like, I go to college, I'll be a completely new person. Nobody knows me.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
I could like completely reinvent myself
Yeah.
as a human being. Whereas everybody else had to just, they still had 6
Set
years
in the ways.
Yeah, they had 6 years
Yeah.
of baggage and, where they were in their friendship groups and all that. That's who
That's
they
nice.
were.
That's a nice way of putting
Yeah,
it, that,
it's
isn't it?
nice-
That
nice
is really
start.
nice way
I
of
was,
putting it, that.
I was like, I'm a bit paying for how cringy I was as an 11-year-old.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want that.
No,
go,
I like that.
Go to college, completely new set of things. Didn't do YouTube for the first year because I was like, no, I'm not going to be a YouTuber, but maybe I could do media.
Yeah.
And then I could get a job, maybe BBC, Spotify, technically did
Something.
come show. But I was like, something. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'll go the more traditional route because I realised at that point also to be a YouTuber, it's like basically impossible. Because I'm like 16, 17 now, realising that it's mental.
Yeah.
And then it was the last month of college. I went to my mate's house party, my old mates who I hadn't seen in like 6 months. 3 of my mates came up to me and were like, and they were the ones I used to do GoPro football videos with, and they were like, "We can't believe you stopped uploading.
Nah.
You should carry on." That I went next day. I went and uploaded a video every day for 30 days. I went from 2,000 subscribers to 30,000.
Really?
And then 30,000. Then the next month it was 60. And then I was full-time YouTuber.
Just doing daily vlogging?
Yeah, I was. It was commentary stuff. So it was kind
Yeah.
of like a mix. Like I was looking at what was working on YouTube. It was just when like these commentary videos had started happening, and I was like, I've got a camera and I've got a microphone. So back then, barrier of entry low.
Yeah.
I was like, and all you have to do is talk. It's not like
Yeah.
before. I'm watching people like Chris and Theo Baker who have got this unreal football ability, and I'm going, I can't do that. I can't. There's an actual level of.
But you're
skill
not bad
there.
at talking.
Whereas I could talk
Yeah.
for England. So I was like, this is it. This is my calling. And I just smashed out these videos every day, and it was instant. I've been doing YouTube videos for 6 years. Basically, most YouTube video was maybe like 1,000 views, and then just found that like right place, right time, right everything.
Yeah.
And then it just never really stopped from there.
Mate, that's a bouting message, that you're never far away from turning the corner, are you? You know what I
No.
mean? As long as you got to just keep working, find something that actually does smash it, works, gets the algorithm, boom, you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's the ease. You haven't got to spend $2,000. You can just
Get
use a
yourself
phone,
a GoPro,
use a
webcam,
phone,
whatever, yeah.
and upload it. Off
Now
you
you
go.
got an iPhone. The iPhone camera's meant like
Yeah,
sometimes
I know.
I shoot main channel videos on the iPhone.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Incredible,
Because
isn't
like
it?
I've got like my £3,000 camera. But I'm like, I could just use the iPhone for ease of filming.
Yeah,
Sometimes,
true.
like,
Yeah,
and,
we do.
and people wouldn't even notice. They wouldn't know.
That Mallorca vlog when we went away, we shot so much of it on
on
a
a
phone.
phone and that, yeah.
Just
Yeah.
we've got one of these little microphones as well, and it just adds a little bit.
Yeah, you got it's all audio really. Like
Yeah.
the one thing I always say to people is like, I did videos off of like my £300 camera that I'd had for years. But the first thing I did was buy a decent microphone.
Yeah.
That's the main difference. You got a good microphone, you're fine. People underrate that massively.
Yeah.
It's the microphone. That's the
Elmslie, what a
important part.
guy.
Yeah. And what about the first kind of encounter with like hate that you had online? What was the kind of first thing where you thought, "Ooh, this isn't a nice place," and how did you react?
Well, it was in that it was that first month of like banging videos because the commentary community was so small. Where literally I uploaded like 10 videos and I was like the 7th most subscribed commentary channel on the whole platform.
Wow.
Right.
With like 15,000 subscribers, and then there was this bigger YouTuber called Keemstar, who you will never probably encounter, but he does like a YouTube news, and he loved to like mess around with the smaller YouTubers because he thought it was funny.
What, like bully a bit, do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious to be fair. I remember I loved it when he did the video. Like I wasn't annoyed at all, but it was the first.
Keemstar's
time.
a bit of a big deal in America now, yeah?
Massive,
Yeah,
yeah.
big deal,
He's
isn't he?
a big deal, yeah. Keem's been doing it for.
Yeah.
He's a real veteran of the
Yeah.
game, but like he did a video, and I didn't realise until Keem that apparently I had like a lisp. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I don't even really think that I do, but I've been kind of gaslit into believing it now. But he did a whole video, and he's like, don't understand what he's saying. His tongue's too big for his mouth. And I was like, and that was the first time. But obviously, I have like 15,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
He had 1 million. So
he's going to hit a bigger.
I was like, fucking hell, this is mad. But then I was like, but this is good because that means I've got skin in the game now.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
if he's talking about it, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this is what
You're
this
on the
is it.
radar, aren't
Yeah, I'm
you?
on the radar because you'd rather be somebody who everybody relatively knows like that. Obviously, you'd rather for positive reasons. But I was like,
Yeah, but
if
you're
I'm
not being a dickhead in your videos, so you should be all right.
And I
mate.
also realised then that I was like, other people, bigger YouTubers are actually seeing this, which means if I do make something good, then I know that people will share
getting
it.
picked up on that. Yeah.
It gave me that belief because before I just post videos, I couldn't envision that 500 people sat down and watched it.
Yeah.
Like, whereas now, I think I can get a really good idea that there are loads of people behind
Who
the
would
screen.
have seen it?
Yeah.
I've got a slight lisp, you know.
Have you?
Yeah. People have always said it to me. You got lisp.
People, all, yeah.
And I think when I think about it, I do it more.
Yeah, same.
Do you know what I mean?
definitely.
When I think about saying, even then, I'm thinking about it now. So, but it is what it is.
Still love you, mate. Still love
Thank
you.
you, mate.
It's
Yeah.
the thing about YouTubers, you'll find stuff out about yourself that you never knew.
Yeah.
Because especially the amount of time you spend on camera.
Yeah.
Like, some of the stuff my friends think that people think about them, I'm like, it's completely in your head just because these people have like just ingrained
You're just
it
in
into
your head too
skull.
much.
Yeah.
Just get out your own head. Have
It's
a
like
nice
the
time.
funniest thing which I noticed with Ben, which you were doing it yesterday. Really,
Go on, don't
makes
lie.
me laugh.
You say to me all the time, it pisses me off. That's what you say about it, where I'm talking to the camera and I'm mouthing it back, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm watching something I've just done on camera, and I'm going, and I'm mouthing it, and he
He's
goes, stop
mouthing
mouthing
it-
it,
mouthing it back to
Stop
himself.
mouthing it.
So he's thought about in his head or whatever, and then he's watching it back and he's mouthing it. And then there was a video that he did at Watford, and he had obviously teed up. I think was it like one of the sports analysts, and said like it was a joke.
Yeah.
And he'd said, like, you kind of say that, and it will be funny. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
a bit. Setting up a bit.
So
for the vlog.
on the actual video, I'm watching it, and I'm watching Ben going, while the guy's saying it.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm like, oh, Fozzie, come on,
That's
man.
brilliant.
That's
I
like a
love
bad
that.
actor, that where you're watching a really bad film and the guy next to him speaking his lines for him because
Yeah.
he's next to him. Can I just tell a really random story about something that just happened to us on the way here in a taxi? The guy that picked us up from it was weird, but the guy that picked us up from the train station, right? He went, so where you going, lads? I went, oh, we're going to Spotify studio. It's in the Adelphi building. He went, oh yeah. He goes, how'd you get a subscription to that Spotify? And we went, oh, you've just got to pay. They don't even like give us. They don't. It's not like they give you one or anything. We have to pay for our own. He went, oh yeah. He went, where do they keep all the music then?
Keep all the music.
Yeah.
He goes, where do they keep all the music
Physical
then?
CDs.
Yeah.
He said to them, have a
And
big.
Yeah, and he went, what, like, you goes, they kind of just, they store it on like servers in the cloud and that. And he went, what? So like they've got one big computer with all the music on, and we kind of just went, I don't know if you're taking the piss or not here, mate.
Kind of. I would have just agreed. Normally, it's almost like a skill being able to talk to an Uber driver. It is like a learned skill. It's like modern, like street smart.
He's gone, it's clever, isn't it? And we went, yes, it's all right,
it's
isn't it?
quite- yeah, it is quite.
I like the idea that like the Fozcast is stored in a physical copy
Yeah,
somewhere.
that's what I think he meant. Like if
They
it's
put it
just
on
kept on
CDs.
a memory card or something.
Anybody want a physical copy of this
Yeah.
podcast?
I'm surprised you're not wearing your merch today, mate.
Do you know what? I haven't worn it in a while, to be fair. I think that's my rebellious arc.
Yeah.
Because I wore it all the time. And it was like a big thing. But because the YouTubers I used to watch, it's amazing. Like, it makes you so much money. Because when you wear it, because it's like, when you wear it all the time, it's constant, obviously, advertising.
Yeah.
But also, like, God, my clothing is generally some of the most comfortable stuff I own.
Yeah.
But it's got to the point now where the amount of people have came and taken my merchandise, when friends come over, everybody wanted one,
Yeah.
to the point where I realised I'd given them all away.
Yeah,
And we
need
haven't
to get
made
on it.
anything in ages because of the fact that I feel like it's weird now to be wearing, I'd be wearing the same stuff I was wearing when I was like 17, and I'm 23
Some
now.
things are timeless, though, mate.
Did you know
Yeah.
that Ben Foster has modelled an internet sensation hoodie whilst out for dinner?
I've got one at home, Alex.
Whilst,
I have got
actually
one at
have
home.
whilst out for dinner with Ollie Ball and Jacob Chuck It or Scran It.
Yeah.
Where did you get that from?
I've got to admit, I didn't buy it. All right, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. I'm more confused about how you ended
Do you
up
want me
with
to?
one.
So we are looking at merch at the moment for the Fozcast and the main channel. So we were speaking to someone, and they said we'll send you some
I know it
samples.
was.
Yeah.
So we got some samples sent. Internet
do you know what that would be?
sensation.
It'd be because these didn't sell. Oh man,
No. So we had a sample come through.
there's probably 1,000 of those.
and we were like really impressed with it. We were like, this is really nice quality.
It is good
really
quality,
nice
We
really
quality.
good
spent
quality.
so long on
Yeah.
that merch shoot because we started it just going into lockdown, and then
Oh,
it took
yeah.
two, and it was and it was the most expensive one we ever did, and then obviously. If we'd have released it in the first year, it would have been great because I had EBOYS, doing
Yeah,
like 3
yeah,
million
yeah.
views a video, and the main channel was still going. I was still doing like 500,000 views a video back then. But then, like second half of lockdown, I was like, after EBOYS ended, I was just like
dried up a bit.
mega depressed. I was like, this is gutting because I thought EBOYS was gonna be the next
But
thing.
it was. It was kind of.
It definitely was going to be the next thing, but then it just got to the point where everybody got so broken down during lockdown, where we were like, I think if we all carry on uploading YouTube videos, we'll quit forever permanently. Also, we'll all want to kill each other.
Yeah, is that what it is? Is it like it just seemed too much hard work?
Because you were
Yeah.
really onto something.
Because then I stopped. I knew it was kind of that thing where I always knew that it was going that way because as soon as EBOYS started, I instantly ditched the main channel.
Yeah.
Because I was sick of it. I was like, this is great because I can get like 4 times the views doing something with my mates.
Yeah.
And also, I don't have to I'm not running the risk constantly of worrying about am I going to piss anybody off. These videos are just funny.
Yeah.
There was no catch.
Yeah.
It was like too good to be true. But then the thing with that is, you all need to be fully on it.
Yeah.
And also constantly having to start because lockdown, no lockdown, no lockdown, no lockdown. And then also other people having stuff with like medical issues. Like, you don't want to put other people at risk who all the time going out and filming.
Yeah,
It just got to the point where everybody was basically just like, we turned up to shoot days and everybody looked miserable.
That's no fun.
And it was like, this sucks because also it makes it so much worse. And I always try to explain this to people. And you might get it probably with football as well. Because everybody's like, you love football. So when you turn up one day and you're like, oh, I fucking hate this.
Yeah.
You also you're like, oh, and I hate the fact that I hate it.
Yeah.
So I meant to love this.
Yeah.
And everybody was doing that. They were going, this is meant to be the best thing on the planet. I want to die. I hate this. And then it makes it worse because now you're going, why do I feel that way? What's wrong with me?
Yeah, like a
What's
guilt.
You're so guilty. And I think all of us just kind of felt like it was so much pressure that it just got to the point where it's always going to kind of implode. And also the sidemen, trying to compete with them is basically impossible.
We
Yeah.
were talking about them on the way over, and do you know, it was the YouTube community can work really, really hard, can't it? And I just said to Ben on the way over in the cab, and I said to Ben, like, YouTubers graft and have historically grafted. You don't see many pictures of YouTubers on the beach.
No, never.
Yeah.
Like, and we were like, oh yeah, like, Sideman, look at the Sideman. You're saying that, and that. How many are in the EBOYS? 4?
Yeah,
It's
it's
four of you. You get 7 for the Sidemen, 7 calendars, and you think, God, big
The thing
respect
is,
for
though,
that
do you
because
think
that
is
must
with-
be hard.
I said to Simon the first time when we did EBOYS, I literally just went up to him and I went, "How?
How
do you
this?
do it?"
Yeah.
I was like, because I was like, we are. There's half of us, and we're like fucking losing our minds.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
how do you do this?
You could imagine though that they must spend so much time together doing shoots, and it's always so organised and all that kind of stuff. That if they do get the chance to go on holiday, like they don't want to go on holiday with the sidemen that they'll spend all the time with anyway. So they'll probably just go with like
I
maybe.
think Ethan's on holiday with Will Lenny at the moment. He's not
okay.
inside, man.
So-
Because they do have you got like clicks outside of it.
Yeah, of
because
course, yeah.
It is work. Like it is proper work.
Yeah,
like,
of
people
course.
could say what they.
I think
would
with
want, but-
Sidemen, that's become like proper work.
I've
for them
seen their
because their
calendar.
team's so
Yeah,
big,
brutal.
and that you be here at this time, and they are going to the office,
And
Yeah.
that's also the difference. But I think there also is a thing, and like I'm speaking on behalf of myself, and I'd assume more people who kind of came up in my generation, is that if you're in my era, which is the one after them, you would be kind of, you knew there was money, and you also knew that you kind of like, especially when you managed to do the commentary videos. You know, I used to be able to make a video in about 8 hours and get a million views, and and we got really used to that, like so used to it to the point where that was one of the things with EBOYS. 3 days planning for a shoot day.
Wow.
People thought it was hell.
Yeah.
And I used to have to sit there and go, by the way, guys, like if you were working on anything else, like this is actually still easy.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys don't have a clue. Like, but people then went from video in your bedroom, turn it on, like after you've had maybe dinner, watched Breaking Bad for 4 hours, like, make a video, crack out a 1 million view video, turn it off. And then they're being told, like, you got to hire a cameraman, make sure everybody turns up on time.
Yeah.
Sort of. And some people just fucking did not like that.
Yeah.
They just were not about that.
I think the thing is as well, a lot of people in that world, they're creative people. Like they're not used to like
organised.
Yeah, being organised and
no teamwork as well.
Yeah, that's what and team working in a team as well. Most people are doing it in front of a camera when they want to do it. It could be 2 a.m, 3 a.m when they do it. You know what I mean? Whereas when you've got to organise a shoot like that, everybody's got to be there at a certain point because it lets everybody else down. And it's a bit. It does it once people start actually going. You've got to be there at a certain time, mate. You start to think, oh shit, I've got to be there at a certain time.
And
then
it's that routine because people also get so used to also being like, I record when I feel like it and I get the best video.
Yeah.
And then when they're like, oh fuck, I'm
being told to.
I'm being told to instantly.
Yeah.
They don't feel like.
Or I'm going to stream till 6 a.m. or.
People felt like weirdly the term that was always used is like I feel like I'm being forced to make videos.
Yeah.
And it'd be like because before then they're not wrong technically.
Yeah, it's true.
Before then. Like I would be like it would be 1 o'clock in the morning. I'd be laying in bed and I suddenly go, "Oh, that's a good idea." And I just get up, turn the lights
Would you go
on,
and do it?
shower,
Yeah.
and I shoot it, and I do it, and I just ride off that energy. Whereas I've always wanted to do this, so for me it's completely different. I would trade anything for shoot days are my favourite days.
Yeah.
But for other YouTubers, they never they avoid them like the plague.
dread it, yeah.
They avoid them. They hate them.
So they're your favourite days. What about
Yeah.
you?
I actually quite like a shoot day when we're doing like a football video.
Yeah.
Podcasts are my favourite. I think I've got to say.
But more than
because-
the football video.
No, the thing is with a football video, I've got to dive around like a dickhead for about 6 hours, and it
do.
hurts,
Oh,
right?
chucking
The
yourself
last
around.
time we did a football video, we did a video with Mini Minter, Toby, Manny. I made a video. They made a video. He made a video.
Yeah, I saw Manny's.
Mate, I am not joking. I just finished training, right? Finished training.
Oh, so you've already been training as well?
I'd already been training, walked straight off my training pitch, round a hedge to meet the lads, yeah? And I walked off that training pitch 5 hours later, and I must have dived around, honestly, 1,000 times to the point where I went out a shower, got in the car, and I was like, wow, that is the hardest day ever. I was blowing. Woke up the next morning stiff as a board, like it was brutal. But I love the shoot days because I love how much like energy. And to be fair, I think the lads enjoy doing it as well. So what I would say, when you got Chris ND and like Simon and stuff like that, they must have so many videos where they've got to be like on it and funny, and it's like the camera's in their face. Whereas with a football video, they're just booting balls and having a laugh and reacting.
Oh,
to
it's
what's just happened.
effortless. I like
Yeah.
those videos. Like when you guys started doing those, I was like, oh, these look great because it's when you've got 3-4 people who all want to be there. As well,
Yeah.
Like it's not a shoot day.
Yeah.
You're just
It's
having
a laugh,
laugh,
isn't it?
yeah.
I know. It's like being down the park with your mates.
Fine balance, though. That was the thing with EBOYS. There were some days, like, and you could tell the videos. The videos that were good are the ones where we all turned up and didn't feel like we were working.
Yeah.
The ones that are awful are the ones where you could tell we turned up and we didn't really think the idea was very good. We all felt like we could have had somewhere else to be.
Yeah.
And also the problem is now as well, it's because of the way that YouTube's changed. That channel costs so much money to run, which people don't realise, and people were constantly getting these massive offers for other stuff and other work, and they won't be able to do it because they're committed to EBOYS. Like, I don't know if I'd be doing the podcast if it wasn't for EBOYS, like, because it would have taken so much time out of my day. I wouldn't be able to schedule guests around it.
Yeah.
And you need to be open because some guests can't work on your time, obviously. So it was that thing where I'm looking at it, and I would say, weirdly, I've made more money not being in the EBOYS, and so has everybody, than if we'd have carried on going, even though EBOYS would have been probably 10, 20 times bigger.
It would have been,
And
yeah.
that is insane.
Yeah.
And really kind of sad. But that's because it's our business and you're running it. Whereas if you can do stuff like, I wouldn't be able to do like Sky Sports gigs or Amazon and all of that.
Yeah.
So I'd be committed to EBOYS all the time.
Kind of is what it is, though, isn't it? Like, say that's.
But it was such good fun. I miss it a lot.
Yeah.
Like if we could do another one, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
But you've got the podcast.
Yeah, but
so,
I'd still do. If we did one a month, even just one a month, I'd be down because I reckon we could find the time.
Yeah.
Is there a comeback?
Do you know what? It's always discussed, but I never know how serious people are being because
No
I'll
smoke
go
without fire.
because my roommate George, I live with George, who's part of the EBOYS. He'll always go like, well, James said he'd kind of be interested. And I go, did he? Or were you guys in a club?
Yeah. You pissed out your heads at
And I'll go, and also, but you'll never hear Will said he'd be. You've never heard that. You've never heard Will would be interested.
Who's got all the logins to the EBOYS YouTube channel?
I'm not logged in. I logged out straight away because I was broken.
Yeah.
But I think George is still logged
Does
in.
does he still go through the analytics and stuff and look at the money that's still making?
It
and
still
stuff
does.
like that?
So
Of course it's gonna be, yeah.
A year down the line, then. So is the channel just as, so obviously they're evergreen, aren't they? The videos are there for everyone to watch whenever they want. So a year without posting, are you still making money from ad revenue?
Yeah, we still have our assistant employed under EBOYS.
Really?
Because
Yeah.
it's still just like the podcast, everything. And what's crazy now is like at the time I knew it was big. When I go back, and podcasts in my head had 200,000 views in a week, which is insane.
Yeah.
Now have 800k.
Yeah.
And I'm sat there going, imagine if that plus if it had continued momentum. It's sad. It is sad because it was great, but then I do think if you asked everybody, they wouldn't have been able to do their own
Other
stuff
stuff,
to
yeah.
the level
Yeah,
that
yeah,
they
yeah,
have.
yeah.
Like if you look at Will, like if you've ever watched a Will Lenny video, every time I see him, I just feel like I need to just get on my knees and just pray to him because it's just so good. But I know how much time he puts into those, and there's no way in hell that he'd be able to and he barely posts anyway.
Yeah.
That plus because Will doesn't half-ass things as well. That's the thing. We could have half-assed it for sure and made loads of money and carried it on, but it wouldn't have been as fun. It wouldn't have been as good. Whereas I do like looking back on it and going, I love every video on that channel.
Yeah, that's nice, mate.
But I also do like having a job.
Yeah.
So got away with it.
So with internet cessation now, so obviously we'll put a link down below. I was watching a few episodes last night.
Thank
Watching
you,
one
I
with Lauren
appreciate
Alexis, really good.
Yeah,
Just quickly,
obviously, I'm going to pick that one on.
Just quickly, do you have the kind of scheduling conflicts that we have sometimes of trying to get a guest booked in and then like you struggle like crazy and then somebody lets you down and then somebody else lets you down and you're thinking, oh my God, am I ever going to get something shot?
One time with one of my good friends, Kit, he did let me down massively.
Last minute.
And I will never, ever let him...
Never
let
forgive
forget
him.
That. But most people have been really good because I got my the producer, Sam, in. He used to work on TV. God, it makes me realise how fucked we all were as YouTubers because Sam is like up 8 a.m. in the studio, travels from Ealing an hour in.
Wow.
And I live 20 minutes away.
Yeah,
I get in at 2 p.m. and he's been there, and he's got Google Docs and Google Sheets, and he goes, "How are you doing your financing before?" And I was just going, "Open app, make sure that there's money in it.
Yeah,
Go,
sweet,
maybe I
isn't
could
it?
get a new camera." And he's like, "This is insane." He's like, "I can't believe you guys." He's like, after meeting YouTubers, he's like, "You guys are all mental." He's like, "I don't know how you guys did this."
It is
But
quite
it's moving
amusing.
to that point now.
We went to the we were in the office the other week, and Ben came in at like 9. We were moving offices, and Ben came in at about 9, and then about 4 he went, right, oh yeah, I'm gonna go. He went, oh, a long day that one. That's a good day that is.
That's
and
like,
I was there
that's
going,
like a 9 to 5 working job almost.
standard day that, mate.
But I feel like you do, because this is the thing. Like when you said I'm on the train this morning,
Yeah.
I was sat there last night at 3 a.m. going, "Oh God!" I set like 6 alarms this morning because I was like, I've got to make it. And I was like, actually, for bed because you would have been training all of that time. And I just what is usual training times for a footballer?
Well, I live in the Midlands, so when I was playing for Watford, I had to drive 100 miles every day.
You used to drive from Birmingham.
Yeah, so I'd drive from sort of near Birmingham, where I live, down to Watford, which is 100 miles, like an hour and a half, whatever, and 40 minutes. Then you'd train from about sort of 10:30, and then you'd leave the training ground at about 1ish, and then drive back home again.
It's
And
not
then
as early
I'd
as
come and do the
It's not
podcast.
as early as I thought it would be. To be fair,
No, you can only train a certain amount of time, can't you? Because if you, especially with football as well, if you're training too much, you're gonna injure something.
injured,
Yeah, you'll
yeah.
pull muscle or something like that. But then, like I say, I'll be coming out doing podcasts, and I'll just go to the office with these lot, and we'll be looking at stuff getting edited and like pictures of this. Should we put this on that? Ideas and stuff like that. But I buzz off it anyway. I'm busy as you like. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, because that was the thing. That was the thing with EBOYS. You know, I realised that I got so used to just kind of working completely on my own,
Yeah,
completely own schedule, and it worked. So
Yeah.
why would you stop?
exactly.
You only really change something if it doesn't really work. So it was like I would just be like, if I can. Sometimes I'd be like I used to. You'd never be able to catch me because some days I'd be up at 9 a.m. and I'd work to 9 p.m. Because what I used to do is I used to record, edit, and upload in the same day,
Wow.
which is insane, by the way. But I think there was something about having that last minute. I only really get stuff done last minute.
Yeah.
So I think I knew, for me, if I was like preparing a video 4 days in advance,
You still wait till the
it'd
last
still
day.
be last day when
Yeah.
I got 85% of it
Yeah,
done.
it's true.
So that would just used to be how I do it. Whereas now it's so different because I've got my producer Sam, who's like, we're doing this today, doing this today, and you know, and it's very different.
Yeah.
But it's better.
I,
It's
I
healthier.
like the saying of I could wake up at 2 a.m. and I've got an idea and I'll just go and get showered and get it done there and then. That's like most people don't do that, you know.
But I had no social life, like, because there were the friends who made it really, really big. They all did that. They all did the same thing.
Yeah.
But then it's hard to tell. I suppose it's what keeps you happy, really. There's a
Yeah.
balance. Definitely a balance, and I enjoyed that. But what I noticed is my enjoyment heavily landed on whether the video did like 1 million views or not.
Oh, okay.
Because the moment I was doing that and they weren't doing as well as I thought I was completely miserable.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's only great when I'm literally like peaking like highest, but
Yeah.
when it's kind of not like that, I'm like, this is not fun. This is not
Really,
and it's
yeah.
not good because I was like, I would be fine with sacrificing seeing all my friends if I was getting like a 1 million view video, and I realised that's not good.
Yeah.
That's kind of insane.
Yeah.
I don't hang out with people.
That's
because
like
I'm
a drug, that is.
Yeah,
Isn't it? When you see that
genuinely.
1 out of 10 performing video, you go, "Oh my god!" Little balloons and that stuff flying off it. It's like, "Oh my god, this is incredible."
And my friends used to like never see me, like, and that's one of the things. Like, since I took the year off, that's why this is the first year I've been able to go to all the Chelsea games.
Yeah.
Because before, I lived in London for 3 years, and I would never make the trip to Fulham because I'd be like, nah, Saturday's the day, upload day.
Yeah.
Sunday's upload day.
You got to find a
So-
balance, haven't you, mate? You have.
Yeah, I used to and I used to be like, what's the point in like doing YouTube and like making I get like really great money for doing all this stuff, and then I'm not doing anything.
Not enjoying it. Yeah.
No, I'm
it's
not
true
doing,
that.
like I don't do anything at all. Like I
Yeah.
realised that I wasn't even playing football. That was when I
Wow.
realised it was a problem.
Completely withdrawn.
I used to play football maybe 4 times a week. Like, you know, we had 6-a-side team, we had training, and then we had Sunday league, and then normally we'd go and just have a kickabout in the field. And I remember just one day, I moved to America for 6 months, and I didn't know anybody there. And I was like, I'm really depressed, but I'm doing YouTube full time. What's going on? And I was like, I haven't played football in like a year.
Yeah.
And I was like, and that was literally, my life used to be 50-50 split. And now it was just all that. And I was like, this isn't fun.
Can't do it, can you?
And now it's back to that. It's so much better.
Yeah. I
Like,
it, mate.
it's a lot.
You got the
it's-
structure of the weekly show and
Yeah.
as well. Just on that, what's the so Internet Sensation? You've got the podcast show. What does the team look like behind that? How many? Because obviously we've got quite a small team. To be fair, I think it's arguably a little bit too small. But
Streamlined is what it is.
yeah,
It
it is streamlined.
Keep
more money,
keep
more money
wages
for
down.
What's the team look like?
So currently, up until maybe about like 6 months ago, it was literally just me. I even to the point of editing, which was the main thing. My friends sacked editing off maybe like 2018, whereas I was so ingrained in the idea that like it's not an ImAllexx video unless I've basically touched every single thing, and that was really hard. And then in the last 6 months, I realised like if I do want to do the podcast, I do want to do the main channel. And I wasn't even doing the main channel at that point, and I also want to do like a second channel, and then also I want to be able to do stuff like this. I can't be. That's like 5 days worth of editing.
Yeah,
to
you got to
do
give
all
up
of
the
those
reins a little
things.
bit. You got to let somebody else do something.
So the first thing we did is I've got 2 editors now.
They full time with you?
Yeah, both full time, which is expensive. But
Yeah.
they're so neat because that instantly frees up 8-9 hours a day, which is a lot.
Yeah.
That's an entire day pretty
Yeah.
much. So that instantly frees that up, and then I was also like, my problem was that because I was out as well, then I realized like I can't be checking and managing stuff because like if I'm in here for like 2 hours or attending like premieres, all the hard parts of the job.
You do. I always see him at a premiere.
I
loves
love
the
a
red
premiere,
carpet.
man.
Yeah, he
I
does, he
love a
loves
red
it.
carpet. Get me on a red carpet. I love them. They're fantastic. But like it was that thing. I was like, well, now I need somebody to basically manage, like micromanage it. So when I got my producer Sam on, now it's so great because it is at that point where he gets the show, so he plans the whole show. I don't even have to write. Like, okay, I'll basically be like if we were getting like you on, Ben, I basically go, oh, there's this one specific question that I personally want to ask, but Sam
We'll do the rest.
Sam can write a 2-hour show,
Yeah.
like, and he hates football, and he'd still have to do it.
Decent.
Yeah.
That's
So, like,
really, really good.
Yeah, and
You better
that's
step your game up, Tomasi, all right?
Yeah.
it's
yeah.
a
Taking the
and
mick, you are.
that's game changing. Like
Yeah.
that. So that's the team at the moment. It's me, Sam, my editor Pan, my editor Dan. With
Sam,
rhyming
Pan and
it.
Dan.
Sam, Pan and Dan.
Sam Pan and Dan,
It's
the
a
dream team.
It's a motley crew.
Yeah.
So that's who it is at the moment. That's us four. And then we've also got my mate Thomas, who's part time, who does just the podcast.
Yeah.
But that's because he's constantly doing stuff with the Sidemen and Mr. Beast. So he's busy all the fucking time.
Busy
Yeah.
doing stuff, with the
Yeah.
big boys.
Yeah, he's got better work apparently.
Nice. And what does he do with you?
Editing as well.
Okay.
Editing's the main thing, really. That
Yeah.
I just because it's the most time consuming.
If
If you want people who can get it right.
Alex Elmsley.
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 Yeah,
Sorry.
it's an annoying last name.
That was brilliant, mate.
Top notch.
You're the
Thank
man.
you so much. Amazing.
I
Brilliant.
told
Really
you, can't he waffle for fun?
Yeah, but
It's such a
Not
skill to have.
waffle, really good.
No,
talker.
dream
good.
podcast
Really
guest.
good
It's so
talker.
nice, though. It's so easy, mate. Honestly, really, really enjoyed
Thank you
that.
so much for
No,
coming
this
on.
was class, man. I loved it, every minute of it.
Yeah,
And then we
thank
could talk about panini stickers on my podcast because we didn't get around to
We'll
that.
talk about that on your
Yeah,
podcast.
we'll get,
yeah?
if you want to see the panini stickers, everybody. Internet sensation shirts.
You haven't got Panini though. You've only got Match Attacks.
I have a few. I do have a few.
So are we talking about this on
No,
your
we'll
podcast?
talk on yours. We'll talk about it on yours.
Yeah,
We'll talk about it
I
on
have a
yours.
few.
I like it though. I like it, mate. As always, mate. Up the Fozcast.
Up the Fozcast.
Up the Fozcast.
Love it. Well
There
done,
we go.
mate.
Amazing. Thank you.
Very good.
Brilliant. That was incredible, guys.
Thanks everybody for watching. We hope you enjoyed the latest episode of the Fozcast. Don't forget to give us a follow on Spotify. Up the Fozcast.